Diddy is once again attempting to secure an early release from jail. He's currently being held at Brooklyn MDC while awaiting his official sentencing in October. Shortly after his conviction, his lawyers sought bail by offering $1 million, but the judge swiftly rejected it. Now, he's making a much bigger move, putting forward a massive $50 million bail package in hopes of getting out.
Now to the Sean Diddy Combs case. We may learn this week if he will be released on bond while he awaits sentencing. His lawyers filed a request asking the judge to release Combs on $50 million.
His stance is that he shouldn't be stuck behind bars because the crimes he was convicted of weren't violent in nature. Diddy was found guilty on 2 counts under the Mann Act, which prohibits transporting people across state lines for unlawful purposes. While this law is classified as involving violence under bail guidelines, his charges didn't include direct physical harm. Still, if he's released, it could put everyone who testified against him at serious risk, and that might explain why judges have been so reluctant to grant him bail.
The judge said next time. So he probably let Diddy get away with it to see how far he was going to do it. But then he said, nah, we're not having this. Because you got to realize the jury is not sequestered. They go home every day. And he's known for tampering with witnesses. If you go through the trial right today, you see how he was trying to tamper with some of the people by having security, D-Rock, and other people talk to them. They are saying that in their testimony. So the judge is very aware of the fact by hearing the testimony of some of the witnesses that he was trying to tamper with.
During the trial, prosecutors presented testimony claiming Diddy acted aggressively toward Cassie and another woman identified as Jane. But the jury ultimately did not convict him on those claims. In fact, he was cleared of any direct violent assault charges. Some have pointed to a 2016 hotel video as evidence of misconduct. But since the case wasn't filed in California at the time, the statute of limitations had already expired, preventing it from being used against him. Now Diddy's defense argues he can't be held accountable for allegations that didn't lead to convictions. Prosecutors, however, maintain that testimony and past incidents show a troubling pattern that makes him a potential danger if freed. The judge shares this concern, while Jaguar Wright has cautioned the public, suggesting Diddy has been using extensive damage control strategies since the trial began.
He does have a plan to try to derail the information, derail the chain of evidence, derail history as it actually happened. And he is the kind of guy that has no problem with re-victimizing people all over again. Let's just keep it a buck. These girls showed up at a very opportune time, did they not? Adria and Lamisha Fuller. Very opportune time. I do Pierce Morgan. The elites go insane. Ariel Mitchell Kidd drops Adria English as a client after she got drunk and talked with Tasha K, which was bad in itself, if you ask me. I go on Pierce Morgan and say I have 3 witnesses that are ready to come forward against the Carters. I didn't say against Diddy, I said against the Carters. And then there was the fake C&D, which was nothing more than a phone call from the lawyer Alex Spiro, who tanked the Rock Nation offering so Dame Dash couldn't make any real money.
Jaguar went on to stress how serious Diddy's conviction could turn out to be, especially now that figures like Albu are also speaking out against him and adding to the financial setbacks he's already facing.
Oh,
Diddy! I'll be sure is somebody that at the time when you were doing your run back in 2024, you were waiting to hear from him. You knew he was going to say something. He finally waited to do the Diddy documentary to finally speak. And I think TMZ put out, or I forgot who put it out, but there was a documentary kind of put out on the downfall of Diddy. And I'll be sure was part of that speaking his story. for you to see him, because again, he was very calculated on who he spoke with, whether it's real life or whoever it was. He was calculated as far as who he was going to speak with, but he ended up finally speaking and then going on the documentary. What credit do you give him for coming out and at least starting the conversation?
What do you mean? What credit?
Yes.
All credit.
There you go.
One of the best moments for me was seeing that documentary and watching how the footage that they took from this blue couch lined up perfectly with everything he had to say. Why did that not hit?
I don't
hit different.
Right.
I'm just
and you said it on your platform too, like, why aren't, as we're closing in on this trial, why isn't there more?
How didn't that hit different?
Right.
Because as much as I love, I'll be sure, much as I love Mr. Albert Brown Sr., father, grandfather, amazing artist, incredible writer, wonderful entrepreneur, and radio personality. It's so funny when I talk about all of the things that my friend, I'll be sure, is. It's funny, everyone forgets that he did all of these things. Like, it's sad that not until that documentary, people weren't even acknowledging that he was an original investor, owner in Uptown Records that got demolished. So bad boy. But for me to be able to say the same things that he was saying, and we haven't even been in each other's presence, how did that hit different?
There you go.
It's like they just don't want to accept the truth. Angie passes away.
Yeah, that right there.
Al said something. I said something. We were attacked immediately.
Right.
Why? You want to know what else I find funny? We got attacked for speaking about the truth. But all of those other entertainers, ain't none of them say nothing. Especially the females who were mentored and influenced by Angie Stone, no different than me. Not as much. I was truly influenced by Betty Wright, but then again, Angie Stone was influenced by her, so I guess it's all the same thing.
Bail law is tough. And for Diddy to be released, he has to prove two key points: that he isn't a flight risk and that he won't break the law again. His lawyers insist he's staying put, offering to surrender his passport, wear an ankle monitor, and not risk losing $50 million in bail. The real challenge, though, is persuading the judge that he won't return to the same behavior linked to his conviction. That's especially difficult given his past pattern of conduct. In fact, Jaguar Wright highlighted similar issues with Diddy in a clip from 5 years ago.
Diddy is a shepherd for the devil. Everybody told me he was a shepherd for the devil, and I see it for myself. Y'all want to know how divisive Sean Combs, Honey Combs is? Go talk to Father MC and ask him how he feels about the love of his life being stopped to death, and all Puff wanted to do was keep it quiet so nobody knew that he was responsible because he didn't have the appropriate motherfucking goddamn permits to do half of the shows he was doing at Howard. Sean Combs, your agenda to destroy talent in the music industry, as successful as it's been, it needs to end. The way you embarrass those people who are making the band, yeah, it might have made good TV. It was good TV because you were sitting there humiliating people for having talent. Why you hate talent so much, Puff? Trying to contend with someone filled with power who know they doesn't need you is much harder than contending with someone that has no talent, that can't survive without you. The only thing that proves is that you're a narcissist. You have beautiful children. You should spend more time looking at them instead of looking up little young girls' skirts. That thing that girl said about you, the side bitch while you was with Cassie, who was the side bitch, while you was with Kim. Your relationships overlap so much, Puff. You like a monkey, for real. You like a monkey. And you know how monkeys travel through the jungle, right? They go from vine to vine. But when monkeys travel from vine to vine, they don't swing on the rope and jump off and catch the next rope. No, they don't let go of one branch until they got a firm grasp on the other. And that's your whole relationship story. You're disrespectful to women. For real, you're probably the Jeffrey Epstein of hip hop. And Puff, if your ass is itching about it, you can say something to me too. Because I know what really happened with you, Shine, and Jennifer Lopez. I know what really happened, yo. That boy that you tried to clone and turn into Biggie Smalls. Shout out to the memory of Biggie, yo. If you don't want me talking, Puff, keep your distance. Because I'm not big and I'm not Tupac. My head is always on a swivel. And what's really sad is all of the things that I've been sharing with y'all over the past 6 weeks. I ain't told shit.
The judge also pointed out that even Diddy's own lawyers admitted in court that, if the case had focused solely on domestic violence, he probably would have been convicted based on the 2016 video. That acknowledgement is now working against him in the fight for bail. On top of that, many celebrities may want to see him remain behind bars, given how much blackmail material he's rumored to have on them.
When they have a warrant, a search warrant for a residence, is not for a body. If they had one for a body, they would have brought it in. Now, if they would have went there and they found guns, drugs, and Diddy was there, they would have brought him in. You know what I'm saying? They would have brought him in. Like they brought his sons in. And then they want to know, well, why are these unlicensed guns in the house? Who drugs do these belong to? All those things like that. But a lot of people probably believe that, they just want to know, and the government want to know what things those people were doing on those tapes and who was doing shit on those tapes. Because I heard they found like 250 cameras or something like that.
That's what they say. They said they found a lot of cameras.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors about him recording some of these parties, and he's using a lot of this stuff for blackmail, like a lot of celebrities, even as far as politicians. I think even Little Rod said that Diddy had every room taped and bugged.
Right. Well, in his affidavit, or his deposition that he gave to the courts, he said every room was bugged, and that he did have tapes and information on a lot of different celebrities and people in the music business, people that were in politicians, and like I said, in other platforms, people that was in the ministry. Allegedly.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if the feds got their hands on these tapes, you could very well see like a domino effect of shit coming down on everybody.
It depends on what's on the tapes. You know what I'm saying? If it has anything, see, what people don't understand is this, is that having sex is not a crime, but having sex with underage.
Another big question is whether it even makes sense for Diddy to keep pushing for bail right now. If his sentence ends up being just 1 to 2 years, much of the time he's already served will count toward it, meaning he might not have much left anyway. Getting out now only to return in a few months may not help him much. Beyond that, there's a larger debate here. Many people believe that if Diddy weren't wealthy and famous, he wouldn't even have the chance to fight for bail. Ordinary defendants in similar cases rarely get that option. For those who came forward with accusations, the hope is that the court values their voices over how much money Diddy can offer. It's also worth noting that despite years of investigation and massive federal resources, The case didn't play out exactly as prosecutors wanted. They spent years trying to build a trafficking case, but the jury wasn't fully convinced. Over 30 witnesses testified for the prosecution. While the defense didn't call a single one, and still, Diddy was acquitted of the most serious charges. Gene Deal, however, has an intriguing theory. He believes the Fed's true target wasn't Diddy himself, but the tapes he's rumored to possess.
Case had nothing to do with really putting Puff in jail, because those people are educated enough to know they could have won that case by other charges and they didn't even go for it. They didn't go for it. That gun charge was locked, sealed, and they didn't even go for it. Why? It was about them going in there, getting those tapes. I think the prosecutor name was Damian Williams. He was sent there and put that because somebody told him in high places. Puff might be the Black Jeff Epstein. He got all the tapes of some people that are friends of ours. They found out that he had those tapes of them. Y'all go get them. Why is the southern state of New York going all the way over in California and down in Miami when they have their own divisions? Why? People ain't thinking about that. They went down there because some people told them, yo, y'all go down there and y'all go get these tapes from this dude. Because we know he got them. And he got them stored in one of these houses. They go in there, they do a raid. Bruh. They brought out they said close to 900 some bottles of baby oil. I know this for a fact. When you do a raid, you do what they call a field test on any substance you bring out that house. You do a field test on any substance that you bring out that house. They not bringing 900 bottles of baby oil out that if it was just baby oil.
Prosecutors are pushing back against Diddy's latest effort to escape his conviction. In a new filing submitted late Wednesday night, nearly 3 weeks after the verdict, they argued that his request for an acquittal or a new trial has no legal grounds. Their stance is clear. The convictions remain in place, and he should proceed to sentencing on October 3rd.
Cassie and Daphne both was victims, but the jury and probably was looking for more women that was victimized in the trafficking thing. And then if they would have brought in more women, and there was more women out there. I talked to a couple of women myself, and I was like, even the women who did the civil suits, the prosecution didn't want to bring them in because they were doing civil suits. And they knew that the defense would get on them and try to make it a shamble about, oh, it's about money. But still in all, when he go to jail, watch how many women and how many people come forward on their civil claims. You're going to have a lot of men come forward too. Watch and see. Our people got a strange way, and they pick and choose who they should be loyal to. And it's strange, bruh. how they celebrating this demon, bruh. They celebrating this demon. Do you understand that? The RICO law, you understand? The racketeering, criminal enterprise, and corruption, all this other bullshit like that. It was hard for the jury to take that in, because when they hear about RICO law, they hear about racketeering, they think about the mafia. They think about the mafia. So they couldn't come to grips with that. And that's okay. But I know this for a fact. He ain't getting no time served. He ain't getting no less than 5 years. He's going to get the mandatory minimum, or he's going to get more. He's going to get the mandatory minimum, or he's going to get more. Point blank. So all you people that's celebrating and want to know how Gene Deal feel,
prosecutors did secure a major victory with the Mann Act convictions. Backing up their case with additional evidence, one of the most talked about moments in court came when the jury was shown a 2016 video of Diddy with R&B singer Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, in a Los Angeles hotel hallway. Cassie also took the stand, telling jurors that Diddy lashed out when she tried to leave one of the so-called freak-offs. That testimony allowed prosecutors to argue that his behavior went beyond wild parties, revealing a pattern of control and aggression. While Diddy avoided convictions on the trafficking charges, the two Mann Act counts still carry significant weight. Prosecutors maintain those convictions are serious and warrant real punishment, even if they don't come with the same high-profile label as trafficking. With his sentencing date approaching, the biggest question now is how much time the judge will decide to hand down.